working on slowing down, not talking so fast, especially in the Zoom rooms and stuff like that. But now that we're in officially, I want to talk about a couple of housekeeping things that I want to change coming off the break, having learned how things work, just kind of seeing how you guys are experiencing things. I want to give you guys the best possible, the most enjoyable web design experience. So we got to make a few little adjustments to do that. All right, you may notice that I have my mic on in Zoom. So now there's captions on the screen behind me. And depending on, I can't remember how it works for you, but you should also get captions on your end. So that's cool. That's fun. I want to talk first about the new phone/live on air policy. Yeah, Logan, what's up? Okay, let me check it. All right, so pause for 1 minute while I check this computer. We're going to talk about what going live means. We're not currently live, so you can be on your devices, but I was going to. No, we didn't get it. Wait, you're actually going? There we go. So you do not. Oh. What do you think talking about? Yeah. I am. Just borrow one of these for the right, and then the second that can be going on. All right. So thank you guys for waiting. You may have noticed that since, yeah, you can use that one. That's fine. Okay, so the way that I want to change things up for going live is instead, previously, you guys just had just had to put them out of the way and not be using them, right? Which is good. It worked mostly well. Not as well as I wanted it to, though. Not as ideal for the web design environment. So, in efforts to make my lecturing more efficient and to help you guys pay attention more, now when we go live, instead of your phone going just in a pocket, it has to be zipped into your bag. So I'm doing it too. Taking my phone, dropping it into my zipped backpack, and that's where it will stay for the duration of us being live. It needs to be totally out of sight, which will make it totally out of mind. So now that we're live, your phone should be put away to some capacity. Definitely zip inside your bag and be live rule. Guys, looks good. Zip inside your backpack. It doesn't have to be buried. It doesn't have to be. And it's safe. That's zipped inside of your backpack. Where do we find it? You can't access it as quick. All right. Thank you guys. So now, another thing. Thank you. That's perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. This is only going to apply when the live sign is on. So if you're curious if your phone should be out, there's your guy. That's the guy you asked. You guys also might notice that since I'm recording my audio for YouTube for later on, this mic is what's called hot. If there's a hot mic, it means it's recording and picking stuff up, which means it will pick up the conversations towards the front of the room. So, hi, welcome in. That's not to say I want you to be totally silent. You're still allowed to talk. You just need to be aware that this mic is hot and it will probably pick up what you're saying. So just keep that in mind whenever we're live, whenever a Zoom room is up, that mic is on. Okay, another thing, real quick, I want to talk about the eating in class problem I've noticed. I am aware that you guys have a super long day. I have a super long day and I have 2 less classes than you. So you get hungry. It's natural. I totally get it. What I don't, there's a word that I want to use that's not school program. What I don't agree with, what I don't participate in, let's say, is when you guys leave trash behind. I'm not blaming anybody in particular. I don't know what class it is exactly, but I am finding lots of gum wrappers, granola bar wrappers, like snack things left behind at the desk. Okay, no more of that, please. I know you're already not supposed to be eating in here, and I understand. I give you guys or not give you, but like, you know, I get it. Sometimes it's got to happen, but don't leave your trash behind, please. That's all I'm asking. Again, no one in particular, no class in particular. Just it's something I've been noticing, especially gum wrappers. Don't leave your gum wrappers. Okay, so this new agenda and video process is kind of the whole thing that I'm working with here, which is why the mic is now hot, which is why we have captions. It's because, let me find my thing here. If you go to your announcements in Canvas, you will find there's a P6 web design announcement for the week. If you are in my other classes, you've already seen this. This is just specific to your period. Every day, I'm going to update the exact same agenda that is behind me, as well as any extra information or Zoom room recordings. They're going to be attached to that specific day. So if you're ever out of class for whatever reason, that's the first place you look to see if we had a Zoom room, to see what we covered in the agenda, any extra resources. That's your first go-to stop, right? It's all going to be here. I'm going to reply to each day. So there's going to be 5 main days if we have a 5-day week, and then all the replies are going to be relevant to that specific day. So like, for example, when I finish this Zoom room, I'm going to connect it to Monday so you can reference it in the future. So you'll notice that there is a reply already on there if you want to pull it up on your screen or just watch the screen recording. These are the classroom expectations that I've made a couple of updates to, and I'm going to go larger screen so you can read them a little bit better. So I'm not going to go through these line by line like I have in other classes. It just takes a bit too long. Basically, the things I want to cover, some of the adjustments I've made is any drink that cannot seal. So that means anything from a fast food restaurant, any kind of hot coffee or tea, any open cup, any pop can, anything like that, cannot be at your desk. Absolutely cannot be at your desk. I have both of these is my coffee cup and my water bottle. Both have a threaded sealing lid. If it has a threaded lid, you can twist it shut so it's spill proof. It can be at your desk. You still have to be careful, but it can be at your desk. So just be careful. These are brand new computers. We don't want to give them a bath. They don't like to bathe that much. Okay, anyway, any drink that cannot seal must go to drink jail, which has a new label over by the sink. Okay, phones and backpacks went on the air. That's our new thing we're going to practice. You guys are good at it already, so I don't anticipate any issues, but that's how we're going to do things moving forward. Turn your assignments in by the deadline on time. The deadline is there because I know you guys are busy, and I want you just to have the space to turn stuff in a little late, but you still need to get it in by the deadline. Each assignment you have 21 days to complete, including weekends. So this is how we avoid having homework. Make sure you turn it in so I don't have to take it away for the future. Okay, that also goes into using your class time wisely and being responsible. The biggest thing in here is keeping your hands on your own computers and using the computers in an effective manner, not as a toy, but as a tool, right? Again, you guys are becoming adults. Well, most of you you're pretty close at this point. So with that comes new responsibilities, comes new expectations, new privileges, stuff like that, so that you need to know when and how to use stuff. All right, anyway, keep your desk space clean too. That goes along with the wrappers too. All right, so now I want to get away. I'm going a little parent mode here. I'm going too lecture-y, more than I intend to. I want to talk about how in this class, hear me out when I say this. Guys in the front, thank you. Hear me out when I say this. I expect you guys to fail things. And that's the best part of learning, especially something like web design where you can grow from it. I don't expect you to, I'm not saying that you're guaranteed to fail. I'm not saying that you will fail this class. That's obviously not true. You guys are all incredibly smart. You're way smarter than I was at this point in my web development career. But failing is not a bad thing. It's often really kind of outlined as this really bad thing, but failing is how you learn. It's the quickest way to figure out what doesn't work, which is just as important as what does work. So I mean this, it sounds kind of weird to say, but like you should be failing because that's how you grow. If you just keep succeeding, you won't necessarily learn anything for the most part. Failing's the easiest, or not the easiest, but the quickest teacher to things like this. Now, on top of that, in this class, I want you guys to make something that you are proud of. It doesn't necessarily have to meet the greatest web development award, right? It doesn't have to be 100% perfect off the rubric. It should be something that you are proud of creating, something that you want to show off, something that you value. You guys have the space to mess up here. You have the room to do something wrong, because that's not the best way that you learn. That's my favorite way to learn, as much as it sucks sometimes, but it is important because you learn and you're able to get back up. So make something that you are proud of. That's the ultimate, the thing you should be doing when you're creating stuff at the end of the day. Okay, moving away from the lecturing direction, I am going line by line. I'm sorry, I just had a lot to say today. The big three, everyone is welcome here. Everyone brings something valuable to the class, and hate of any kind will not be tolerated. I love seeing what you guys are creating with your different creative perspectives, your different life experiences combining together to make this cool product or this cool output. I'm a big fan of it. So just make sure you're aware that you are welcome here and you do belong here. And I look forward to coming to work every day because of students like y'all. Okay, anyway, moving away from that, return your bathroom passes to my monitor and sign out when you leave the room. I do know when you leave without doing either. I can see it, so don't do that, please. Passes right here, unless it's a bathroom emergency, then you can just do your stuff. But take a pass and sign out. They're by the light switch and by Mount Rainier if you need to leave. Okay, and then this isn't really an issue because you guys are really good at saving to the cloud, but just to be safe, make sure you're Control-S-ing pretty frequently. Okay, so that's the expectations as outlined in the weekly agenda thread as well. If you're curious on what each of them are in more detail, you can check that out there. Okay, so let's see what else we got on our, we did our expectations review as according to our housekeeping agenda here. How many of y'all in first period actually watched the Monday morning message? Raise your hand. You don't even have to pay attention. How many of your teachers actually play it during first period? 3 of you? I'm not, sorry, okay. I'm trying to figure out how many teachers actually show the Monday morning message, because I didn't up until recently. And it seems like none of us do. So if you really want to watch it, we can, but I'm just kind of gathering information, especially from, because I have a web design first period. Okay, so that concludes my housekeeping section. Does anybody have any questions about that in general? Not much has changed. It's just making sure we're all on the same page here. And I don't mean to lecture in a parent way. I just value you guys' time. So I'm glad you're here. Okay, all good there? All right, so let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff for project 4.7 phase 3. We're going to shift gears a touch for web design related stuff so that we can get best prepared for finishing up those websites this week. Okay, the 2 things I want to go over very quickly are source coding, something that I've been mentioning quite a bit now that we've already written our draft. You don't want to start from scratch again. As well as version numbering and quick comments are going to build upon that source coding idea here. So what I'm going to do, you're welcome to follow along, but you are not required in the typical sense. It's not like a code along. What I'm going to do is take my source code from 4.7.2 and turn it into 4.7.3. So what I'm going to do here is go into my 2023-24 year OneDrive folder and find my way to 6th period web design, where my 4.7.2 currently lives, right? We're used to this. We're all good there. I know you know how to copy a folder. So, but what I want you to do, or what I want to show you, is just some quick ways that you can increase that efficiency little by little and become a faster developer. So all in all, I'm going to check my 4.7.2 here. And I'm going to right click, copy. Oh, not cut. Just kidding. Control Z to let me paste that real quick. Pretend that never happened. Okay, like I was saying, so I'm going to check the box for 4.7.2, right click on that, and then go down to copy here, and then right click again to paste it. It's going to put it right down here, right next to the other one, but it's going to have copy at the end of it here, right? That's not new. That's nothing crazy. We know that. The way I want to show you to increase your efficiency is when you right click to rename this, because this is going to become our 4.7.3. You just use your arrow keys. Instead of deleting the whole thing by Control Z, I can just use the arrow key to only take off the copy part and change the 4.7.2 to a 4.7.3. This is technically called forking because we've reached a fork in the path with this code, but it's also the essence of, you've already done the work, so now you just need to adjust it for what you need, leaving that 4.7.2 in the past, kind of where it is as a draft, right? Does that make sense? All right, so now we go into 4.7.3. If I were to run that, it looks exactly like my 4.7.2, right? That's okay, because that's what we've started with here. So I'm gonna go into VSCode, open mine up real quick, and I'm gonna go to File, Open Folder, find my way to 6-period web design, and then open up 4.7.3, which looks exactly like 4.7.2. Now, the way that you're going to be able to quickly tell the difference and quickly make notes is the keystroke, so the combination of keys for commenting. Now, I usually put my comments with a version number. Anytime I make a fork or a copy of some source code, I like to make a version number to keep track for me. I usually do that in the head section because it's kind of one of those little pieces of website brain that my user doesn't really need to know about necessarily. So if I were to go V2 for version 2, since V1 was the draft, if I wanted to comment this, okay, now I have to go shift comma and then an exclamation point and then dash dash, and that comments out the whole thing. And I go dash dash shift period. That's a lot of clicks to just write one single line comment with 2 pieces of content in the middle. So instead of doing all that, I'm going to show you guys the keystroke to quick comment. This works in HTML and CSS. So I'm going to type the letters V2, so that's my version. I'm going to highlight that whole line, and then watch when I hold Control question mark or Control slash, it just automatically comments that entire line. So something you need to keep in mind of though, is that it comments the entire line instead of just the section. So say I wanted to make a note for myself here on line 15 and say this link takes me to page 2, right? If I just want to comment that section, you think, oh, for sure, I'll just highlight that section and I'll go Control question mark. That's going to take out the entire line, unfortunately. So if you're wanting to make notes like this, I'm going to delete that. You want to do it underneath the elements, kind of like in a table of contents or like in a diagram or like a textbook. You want to put it underneath the elements. So I'm just going to Control V. Oh, just kidding. Get rid of that. This link takes me to page 2. Highlight that whole line, hold Control and question mark. It's going to quickly comment that entire line out so that when I reopen my VS Code, I know exactly what I was working with here. This seems really simple, but this is one of those little changes that you can make that very quickly increases your ability as a developer and as an experiment, like experimenting with your page about what's working and what's not working. Quick commenting, you can kind of think of like a light switch. Like for example, I'm going to go through here and go to my page 2, comment V2, make sure I know that each of those are the for the version 2 for 4.7.3. So I'm type my letters or whatever I want to comment. Control question mark, it's going to turn it into a quick comment. Then when I go here to page 3 and said, I don't know, something that works for me, made an update from 4.7.2 to 4.7.3, right? I don't want my user to see that. That's just a note for me. Control question mark. Very quickly takes it out of the document flow, very quickly makes a note of it so that you can go from there. The way you would use this as a toggle, let's say if I run this real quick, run my page 3, which is right over here. Let's say my navigation bar is not working. It's not scaling properly, it's not whatever. I need to figure out why it's not working. This is where quick commenting becomes useful as a light switch, is I can highlight this whole div class of navigation, Control question mark, takes it out of the document flow completely. And if I go to my thing here, go to page 3, that element is now not missing, but toggled. So when I'm ready to make some changes, I can just Control question mark again, remove the comment, and it's going to be working just like it used to. You can see our navigation bar is back right here. So this is super useful, especially in CSS. So if we go into my style sheet, and let's say I don't like, let's say div.navigation, I set a width of 10%. Oh, I don't know what happened here. I wasn't looking at my screen. WIDTH, 10%. Semicolon, and then a height of 10%. Okay, sure. Let's go back to my output here. Okay, I don't love that styling, but I do want to keep the HTML in a functional spot as it's working so far. Control question mark works the same way in CSS, except it applies the CSS comment. So if I take all the styling off of div.navigation, I don't lose that work that I've done. It just keeps the HTML so that I can figure out what's not working on the styling. So let's say I don't like the height property. Control question mark. Turn it off. Just flip the light switch to off, and now it's only going to have a height or a width instead of a height. Vice versa is always true, or also true. Control S, Control S to save, but quick comment out my width property here. Oops. There we go. Nothing changes, but you guys get the idea on how you can use comments like light switches, right? You can just control question mark, turn them off or on, and then figure out what's not working or not behaving the way you want it to from there. So the one last thing I want to show you guys before I kind of get you, let you work for the rest of the period, or I'll help you one-on-one, is the autosave feature. So if you go up here to File, and you go down here, there's an autosave box that if you check, every time you make a change, it's going to automatically save. So I'm going to mash my keyboard, and I'm going to close out. Okay, didn't ask me if I wanted to save. Say my computer crashed, or my internet went out, or my, I don't know, whatever. It's saved. Now all you have to do, this is optional, you do not have to have this, but it's just you go to File, and then check this box right here that says autosave. This is super useful if you're using the live server extension. So if I split my screen real quick, let's say I want to have a couple more links. All I have to do is add a couple more link elements. And since it's set to autosave, I don't even need to refresh. It's going to automatically add that in for me. Just makes the whole experience a lot smoother. And that's more of like a quality of life tip, more so than like a required tip. You don't have to do that. But it is a useful tool if you want to go File and then check this box right here that says autosave. That will automatically save your work every time you make a change. So all of this is to say, before I take any questions you guys might have, what I want you to do today is experiment with that quick comment keystroke. Go through your 4.7.2 after you've made a copy of it to 4.7.3 and just quick comment around. Control question mark, or it's technically control slash, but they're on the same key. So control question mark is going to auto comment that out in CSS and HTML. Experiment with it. Just get used to it. It's a very useful keystroke to know, just like control S or autosave. Okay, before I help you guys one-on-one, does anybody have any questions about what I've shown you? We all good? Okay, cool. No, we're not good?
No, I mean.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. No worries. Okay, so thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you. I know I did a lot of talking. I know I do a lot of talking a lot, and I'm working on it. But I just appreciate you listening. So I'm going to end the Zoom room. I'm going to upload this video, and then I will be able to help you guys one-on-one. And that'll be our day today. It's just quick commenting and source coding. Yeah, Delilah.
What's your YouTube channel name?
It should be B. Blakeney ISD. It's a boring one. It's my teacher one. Yeah, Naomi, what's up? Yeah, I'll be right there. Yeah. Okay, so let me process this. I'll end the Zoom room. Thank you guys for listening. And we're back in. Welcome back to school.